water. Two opposites, but in the wrong place and time, equally dangerous. Kia ora, I'm Philip Alpers, and tonight on Heroes, a fire breaks out in the cabin of a helicopter, 2 lives are at risk, and a peaceful pool becomes a death trap when a child falls in. For a Rotorua helicopter pilot and his co-worker, burning off scrub from the air was a routine job. But when a spark blew back into the cabin, setting it alight, the 2 men were suddenly in big trouble. It was March 1975 in the Bay of Plenty hill country behind Paengaroa and Te Puke, burn-off season in timber country. The slopes were littered with dry cut debris. For 2 men in a helicopter, it was a perfect time to start a fire. For pilot Barry Simmons, this was just another day at the office. He'd been flying helicopters around Rotorua for a couple of years now. Aerial fire starting was standard procedure. Barry was working with Martin Abbott, a forestry supervisor with a local timber company. It was Martin's job to set the fires.
How's Collie? Price is great, excellent. You looking forward to the big day? Sure, yeah, sure, mate.
Both men remember they were an experienced, careful team.
We'd flown together on numerous occasions with various reconnaissance work for photography, and also for fires. We'd lit fires before in the same manner. So we were a good team. We understood each other.
We'd assessed the whole situation. We did a dummy run along, pardon me, along one ridge, close to the boundary, and decided was the right starting point. Then went back and started the second run, further down the bottom of the gully.
Start down there!
Back in the 70s, fire starting methods were a little crude. Between the 2 men sat a box full of DAIDs, delayed action incendiary devices. They looked like huge matches and worked the same way. Martin would light the DAIDs and then drop them.
So what we wwere doing was flying a predetermined path, and at regular intervals, every 3-4 seconds, I would take a DAID out of the box beside me, strike it in the striker, and then drop it.
We thought we had everything pretty well covered safety-wise. We were aware of the characteristics of the phosphorus on the match flaring at times, and we'd occasionally find specks of hot material perhaps embedded in the perspex.
This time, Barry and Martin had barely completed their first run when it happened.
We'd just started the second run further down the ridge, and it was just, it happened so quick. The cockpit filled with dense smoke. I couldn't see my passenger, was only sitting on one seat away from me. I couldn't see the instrument panel, just lost contact with everything. Consciousness
told me that, hey, this isn't smoke from outside that I've been looking at. It's literally smoke inside the machine.
The only advantage I had was at the door. We're flying with no doors on, and I was able to put my head out to the left Smoke was billowing out round the face, but I had a lap strap on, which allowed me to lean out of the cockpit quite a distance to view the situation ahead. The ability to look out the door and see where I was going was perhaps the saviour of the whole thing.
We've got a fire on board, a major fire on board, with intense heat. We've got seats that are burning, bulkhead behind, and underneath that and directly below is the fuel tank. If things get really hot and hotter, then that fuel, we could blow up in midair. I've got no idea. But these loose thoughts were flying through my mind, that just sit there and see what happens. If it goes bang, it goes bang. If we land, we land. And I just sat there and went with it.
Beneath them was rough country littered with logs, and you can't land a helicopter on a slope without the rotor blades whipping into the hillside. For Barry, there was only one way out. He'd have to climb higher, then spot a ridge with a clearing big enough to land. Between them, an entire box of incendiaries was burning so fiercely that neither man could throw it out. Within the next few seconds, the blazing phosphorus could gut the aircraft. A spark, a blazing box of incendiaries inside a helicopter cabin, and two men facing a fiery end. Before they could crash land, pilot Barry Simmons first had to climb out of the gully, then find a flat patch. Passenger Martin Abbott couldn't imagine that happening when all he could see was smoke.
He didn't have time to dwell on that. We had a situation which meant I had to react pretty quickly on. It was something I couldn't have handled by remaining airborne.
I'll try and put it down that ridge!
I can distinctly remember Barry saying, I'm going for this ridge. And at that time, I felt, because we weren't that high off the ground, we didn't have that far to go, that maybe, we'll make it. That things will turn out right, and we've both got a couple of burns, and the machine will probably go bang, but there's a fair chance we'll get out of this. I was flying with the machine, and that's all I could do, but I was getting pretty tense.
Barry could just see what he thought could be a safe landing spot. All he could do was drop the helicopter and hope. But the danger was far from over. Jumping into the blades has killed many a flyer.
As the rotor blades were picking up the scrap all around us, it would have been lethal to have even jumped clear.
The fire was burning both men, but the wildly swaying rotor was even more deadly. Barry would have to dig the blades into the hill.
I remember the machine then slowly going onto its right-hand side, onto my side, and we literally just tipped over in slow motion. And that's when things got really serious, and I thought, well, that's it. I've had it. That with the fire that's going on, the fire we've just lit 30, 40 metres below us, that'll be racing up the hill.
From the time the road stopped, the helicopter instantly flipped onto its right-hand side with the force of the blades, the reaction, and I was left draped across the skids on the left-hand side.
Martin was trapped inside with a jammed seatbelt.
Are you all right, mate? No, I can't get my belt undone. Can't get out. Hang on, I'm coming.
I thought, well, that's it. I'm going to die. It's going to be a big bang or a small bang or a soft bang. I wouldn't hear it, maybe. Probably wouldn't care.
As Barry Simmons fought his way round, he vaguely noticed the incendiaries had flown out, setting fire to surrounding scrub. In the middle of all this was a wreck dripping with ruptured fuel lines and a man he had to save. It was only later that Barry realised his hands and leg had been deeply burnt by the flaming phosphorus in the cabin.
Bastard, I knew you were turning up out of the blue. Jeepers, matey. God damn and blast you, I've been ringing you the last couple of 3 days.
Barry Simmons and Martin Abbott hadn't seen each other for 7 years, but when they did,
But here, anchors up here.
Shadows going over Mark, move back.
Then if you can imagine, you've got the scenario where the shoe's upside down.
Are you
there,
going right over Mark?
and we can actually look at its
Like,
white.
that's good.
We can actually look at its whitewash that's sitting up there. Then we've got this section here, strong copper leaf, which we can gradually put in, slide. So we've got 20, so we've got, we want to do
So that brings it back to
back to this one over here. So back to this one. I don't think if I go to the extent of the one, there's a walkway, because he did.
you think you will be inspirational to your
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because the problem here is that we want to have this square that has a reference in the game. You know, 3 inches, so it's over 11. So we can use that as a guide. And
Lift
we've
your
got
head up, Holden.
EP3.
That's,
My hand up.
Use this
that's better.
as an EP3, don't bend over so much. Then we have infill panels, which is basically want to fill it in. If I see the panel there, I want to fill it in.
Yes.
Okay, action. batteries going on this one. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I got quite a bit there. Anything else? Try that again, just in case. Hey, hey, Håkan, or Mark, try that whole. Hey, oi, try that whole thing again, and you have to go pretty quickly because the battery's going. Ready? And
Hang on. Oh, what?
Go for it.
I really want this sort of here. Oh, no.
No way. Hang on, go a bit slower, Mark. Wait until I say go. Okay, go. Wait until I say go, wait. Okay, go.
exactly the same. Don't know what you're filming. You're filming that?
Yep.
Okay, winding back. Get another shot of doing that side.
Hey?
Get another one in here. It's really all you need, isn't it? Pressure on it, came loose.
Is it? Oh, well,
That's taking chunks out of it.
anything? Are you going to carry on?
Oh, I think that would be enough, really.
Probably, yeah.
Because you just want a few shots.
I think I got enough.
Yeah. Get off anyway. One shot there. That was the bad shot.
I got that.
Oh no, you missed it.
That was good.
These would have taken the start like this. Hello. Yeah, that's it. Full. Oh, right, yes. Thank you. What else are we going to do? Play that. It's my number. Do you film it?
Yep.
Engage.
Okay, dude. Right, that's the spotlight. File that up and we go.
Freeman,
Yes.
yeah, I've got some plans for you.
Okay,
There's some
yeah.
plans through from Mr. Brown at the Auckland Casino, and one detail he wants to know about is the way that Finchley is going to go on the bar.
No
That
good.
dimension there.
Mr. Freeman, I'd like to
Yes.
say to you, we've just had this fax that this has come through from Mr. Brown, and he's asking about the way that the metal
Yeah,
sort
goes
of folds
on.
over
Okay.
the thing there.
We have there. We'll tell him that this will come down 395. Now I will call him at 3 o'clock to set up a meeting
Right.
for Thursday. Okay?
Anything else?
No, that's all, thank you.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, great stuff. I'll just take that away. I'll take it through from the
Thank you, Karen.
Freeman, we've just had this fax come through. We're interested in a stand that features many dimensions of its arty.
Go ahead, change the script.
Take three, and action.
Excuse me, Mr. Freeman, may I speak to you for a
Yes,
second?
okay.
We've just had this fax come through, and it's from Mr. Brown from the Auckland Casino, and he's interested in looking at the bar. However, he wants a longer surface to
Okay, yeah.
right down.
So he does want to have it this long, okay. Righto, if you,
Just around here, I think is
Yeah.
a problem.
yeah, what we can do there is go a bit longer there. Well,
And action.
Hello, Mr. Freeman. I've got some faxes here from the Auckland Casino. What it shows here is the dimensions that's required for
Yeah.
the bar area. They want the Hawaiian design,
Okay,
as
Hawaiian.
was discussed before,
Yeah.
but they want the bar area bigger,
Yeah.
so they can have more stock on it, basically.
okay, that's no problem.
Right.
At the moment, we fax this back to him. It's now 5 away at 12:30. And we'll take it from there. That's great. We're looking at using my shortcuts here. We'll actually put that in and call it
Mark,
yes 38 telephone. Actually, if we put that figure in there onto that one, we should be just fine.
and look this way.
We'll modify this one again, going with that,
Look this way.
and
It's on the phone, mobile phone, or any kind of phone. Pick up a phone.
okay. This one, I've got a different looking piece of paper there, so it looks kind of like, just in case people are clever enough to, okay, budgets and figures. Alright, here we go, budgets and figures. Okay, then go budgets and figures. Alright, ring, white you bastard. Good afternoon, Mark Freeman speaking. John, yes, just hang on a minute, John. Here we go, right in front of me. Okay, yep, so you want to spend $3 million and get very little. Yes, that's right, no, I'm sure we'll be very good for that. Actually, we're probably better than anyone else for that. You do want to enjoy the little falls bits after 3 months. 3 days, oh, we're even better on that, I'll come to make it. Okay, so basically what I can do is I go through some figures here and look at 89 times 45 million equals, okay, yes, and you will throw your wife in as well. Okay, sorry, we've seen your wife, she looks not very good. We won't actually give you anything for her.
Okay.
But your teenage daughter was interested, so we'll probably give you a little bit of money for her. Okay then. Okay, thank you very much. I'll pretend to go through a catalogue. I don't need to use a phone book because actually my secretary does the phone for me now. But I sit at this pile of bills in front of me, I look at them one by one, I add them up and I go, God, and I kind of sink down to the weary head. Gradually reach into my right hand drawer, pull out a very small pistol, as I very gently load it, put it in my mouth, blow my head off. I probably won't do that. But what I will do is sit here just talk a little bit. I don't think anyone's watching me or listening to me, that's okay. I could have a quick look, I don't honestly stuck, fletcher steel, I don't like that very much. I can pretend I got a fax. Okay, right. I could look at that fax and go, I should have sent that days ago, so I'm probably a little bit in the crap here. We've got my phone again. Nobody there, no calls. We'll pretend if we can make money on the computer, which I actually don't know if we can do, we can print money on the computer, but I'll try because we desperately do actually need to print some money. So if I try through drawing up a bit of money, that doesn't work. So if I just go, help, save me, I'm in big trouble with it or something. Thank you. Sure. Time to go. Bye. it's got to be straightened up from the front, it's falling down the front.
You might take a sort of right up or
Yes,
That's good sound here, the symmetry coming up. Amazing light and colours in it with this light, isn't it?
yeah, it's amazing. Groovy two shoes, man. Just let me get one of those. Missed all day.
See you later.
See you guys, have fun. We have
See you, Hooker.
Hey Andrew! Andrew! Are you going to be in town? Are you going to be in town tonight?
No, probably in Foxby.
Well, I'll see you at the mining chambers at 9:30, eh?
Squeeze me.
See you at the mining chambers at 9:30. Shall we call bar there? I'll buy you a beer.
Mining chambers on Foxby Road.
Queen Street?
Alright.
Yeah, mining chambers. Do you know where it is? It's a little building, little stairway in there. See you at 9:30.
And not to mention the assistance needed for. This is a management employee interaction here. How does the employee feel about being asked to do overtime at 9:30 on a Friday?
Andrew, it's happened too often this week. Too many problems. And you know, what are we going to do about this? Okay.
Leave stress.
I'll buy you a beer, mate. The CDs pick out a or something like
50s. So you're only the customer here. You know? I mean, the fucking customers these days.
You want to go with that?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
See you later, right?
Well, I might have to find something else.
Well, you just find someone else then, actually. You're going I can deal without, to tell the truth.
No, well, I go away. Yeah, it was time change anyway.
See you later.
Yeah.
See ya.
So
It's more of I'm going to use you rather than just talk to you. And I do like these pointy bits here because they make big holes in you nice and you polish with the floors. And that way a friend of mine who's in the floor sanding trade actually gets to do more.
Oh, far out. That's not fair.
Oh, come on, that's not fair. Huh? Okay. So what we have here, we've got, so this bit here, we can equate to up here. We have a look at this section. We have 23 within, please. 23. And this bit over here will be where the tall people will stand. So we don't actually want that. And what are your requirements? The tall people. So what are your requirements? How would you like to see how would you like to see this done?
on green scale.
On green scale.
Very green.
So you like it green. Now we have the option of come here today. Come here.
Well done.
I think around this area here, you can put the toilet very right and then let the hole down the floor, right down here. As we
Yeah. So we have a toilet over there, please.
Yeah.
Karen. Okay, I'll shorthand for it as well. Okay. So really what we want to do, we want to run this one here. If we quickly flick through the plans here, and we actually correspond to these. So we've got a measurement of 1600 here by, the width is unknown, So that there, across here, that should work, I think. It should work. I think you look like you want money, so I think probably about $20 each. That's all right.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
Yeah, plus another $1 each for put it in a.
As long as the finishing's okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, that doesn't include finishing. The finishing's another one.
Right, no, well, so that, no, that's my major concern. Finishing.
Okay, it's finished.
Definitely.
Well, all right.
Especially the leafing. You can do the leafing,
Yeah,
copper sheets.
that's no problem. Painting thing looks good.
Yeah, well,
Basically, you'll give us a big rubber check. For us, a small rubber check and a big rubber check are very equivalent.
with this stuff here, it's going to cost, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you might have to wait until the casino's open.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that we'll only get paid if you win at blackjack. Okay. I don't know how the figure. How are the figures?
Mentions and more.
Well, on that, Miss Frank.
It's 2,000 on the black number. I feel that there's a million on the other side of the million on the far side.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We can do that then. Okay. Well, I think that's all quite well sorted out. I think we can say there that now you've just taken 2 minutes of my time out of $1 million to second.
No, second.
So thank you very much. And I'll give you a card here. My card. There we go. Here's my card, and we'll see you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, and
No!
we've done it here.
No, I refuse!
Look, if he wins money at the casino, we'll get paid.
We can't trust them! They're all corporate bastards.
Right, corporate bastard.
Is that really shorthand?
Oh,
I see.
Where the fuck are you going? Where the fuck is he going?
Get the fuck off the road there, you fucking cameraman. Jesus Christ.
How many people listen in the band? 4.
3. So you recorded on the single tracks and then mixed them together?
Well, first of all, we set up a rhythm tracks just for about 2 weeks before rhythm tracks. And then we succeeded in doing zones.
Sitting down in the studio and smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. That's what they want to do, isn't it? It's on TV.
No, it's too full on.